Lastly, I'd like to introduce my friend who needs no introduction, Mr. Tom Lucero. Thank you for being here, Tom.
Thank you. Ray, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today to celebrate Flag Day, this glorious day that represents that symbol, that great beacon light of hope, not only to the country, but to the rest of the world. That symbol that stands for freedom. And as I was driving up here today, I was thinking, what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? And I was reminded of 9/11. That morning, as I was getting the kids ready for school, my mom called and said, have you turned on the TV yet? And I hadn't. I turned on the TV, and like millions of Americans, I was glued to the TV. At the same time, I was getting my 8-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son ready for school. We get in the car, I turn on the radio to figure out what else is going on, and not realizing the impact that those events were having on my children at that particular point. Phone rings, my mom calls again and says, what's just happened? And I said, well, Mom, somebody's just declared war on the United States of America. And we got to school, and I saw the impact that it had had on my daughter. She was traumatized, and I looked at her, I tried to calm her down. I said, Tori, everything's going to be fine. And I said, do you know why everything is going to be fine? And she looked at me and she said, yes, because we're Americans.
Yeah!
And at that point in time, I realized that I was raising my children correctly. Now, if you remember, over the course of that day, around the world, as video was shown of what was taking place in other countries, American flags were going up. American flags were going up in Australia, all throughout Europe, all around the world in solidarity with the United States of America. Because that symbol, the American flag, represents just that. That last sign, that last great beacon of hope in the world that stands for freedom. And unfortunately, we're headed down a different path right now. Servitude does not have to come at the end of a gun. It can come financially as well. Right now, we have a president and a Congress who've saddled this country with more debt than all presidents combined from George Washington to George H.W. Bush. And I know people want to talk about and say, well, we're passing that debt on to our children. I've got children, 16, 12, and 10. Guess what, folks? It's not just the children. Because the one thing that they won't tell you, the dirty little secret taking place in Washington, D.C. right now, is that the only people who can pay that debt are the middle-class Americans right now. And the taxes are coming in the form of a Trojan horse that they're calling the VAT tax, because the president promised not to raise taxes on 95% of Americans, but he did just that with the tobacco tax, because it impacts low and middle income families more so than anybody else. But they've got to pay for this debt, and it's coming down. Unless we stop them, the projections are that middle-class Americans are going to be paying upwards of 60% of their income in taxes. My friends, that is not freedom.
That is not freedom!
Wealth is created in economic prosperity in the greatest country in the history of the world is created through freedom. Through everyday Americans having the opportunity to do what they do best, and that is live their lives. And that the most oppressive force to the creation of wealth and to freedom in this country is the government.
That's right.
God bless you all for taking the time to come out here to say enough is enough. We want our freedom back. We believe in personal responsibility, and it's time to hold our elected officials to account. My name is Tom Lucero. I'm running for Congress in the 4th Congressional District, and I support the auditing of the Federal Reserve, and I support getting the government out of our lives and turning it back over to ordinary, everyday Americans. God bless you all, and thank you.